Hi, folks. So, under pressure, is your go-to strategy to lie or cheat? That seems pretty forward, I suppose. But I just caught my first cheater. It's that time in the quarter, right before the end of the quarter. Students are stressed, and that's the time when I find that I find more examples of cheating. And when I say cheating, I mean violating the rules that I put in place and using words. And in this case, it's going to Chat GPT or something and pulling content and dumping it in. And I'm pretty liberal, but when the detective says 100% likelihood, I'm comfortable saying that's cheating. So when I approach students, the very first thing that I say to them is this who you really are? And that strategy has worked for me for a long time. And I can remember the very first time that I used it. In I was teaching in person at the time, and a student came up to me and she had her exam paper and she held it to me and she was pointing at it. But she was saying, guy in the back is cheating by using notes in his hat. And it just makes me mad. So I don't want to let people know that I'm saying this. I just wanted you to know. So she went back to her seat. And from that point on, I didn't see the guy doing it, but I knew I needed to do something. And so when he turned his test in, I just said, please come back to my office after the class is over. I'd like to talk to you about cheating. So fast forward, he comes back to my office. Now, I didn't have any evidence other than somebody else calling me. So I wasn't sure how I was going to approach this. And time was passing. And he finally showed up and in a panic when I said, come on in, he had a seat. And so my first question was, uh, is this who you really are? Not knowing if he would confess to his cheating. He sat down and just started crying. And this is a guy, he was 19 years old. He was on the baseball team and he was just distraught. And so he calmed down a little bit and he said, oh my gosh, no, this is not who my parents brought me up to be. And he just spilled it all. And so we talked about it. And so, I mean, he accepted he was getting a zero in the final, but he showed contrition, um, and that was enough for me to give him a second chance. And he wasn't going to get a pass on the final, but I wasn't going to judge him for life on this one mistake. And that's one of the things that I think is really important when you're dealing with people in general is one example of a behavior isn't a pattern. And giving people second chances is really important. So another strategy that I take with my students about when I talk about cheating at a time, trying to prevent the cheating, is to get them to think about other people cheating. It's not just themselves, but think about it. Do you want your surgeon to be a surgeon who lied about their credentials to get the job, and now they're operating on your brain or your heart? Do you want your accountant to lie to you about their degree? Do you want the nurse that you have at the hospital to be one who, when she makes a mistake, she lies and covers it up? Do you want your partner to be somebody who lies about their past or about their age? So when you think about doing it yourself, you're essentially agreeing that it's okay for you, so it must be okay for other people. But I think most people don't think of it like that. So I encourage my students that when they are under stress, that's the best time to show humility and honesty. With humility, you can ask for help. If you're under stress and you need an extension on a deadline, you can ask. And a lot of times that's possible. And if you're honest, you don't have to keep track of who you lied to about what. And that takes a lot of mental energy you don't really need to waste. So when you're thinking about lying, to cover something up or cheating to get something that maybe you don't deserve. Just ask yourself, is this really who I am? And then you are who you are. You can answer that question. But I think it's a good question to ask yourself, and also ask it of others. So I will see you on the flip side. Have a great day.